touchdowns.
Touchdown!
It's not even what I wanted. Hold on. There we go.
It's been 2 whole weeks.
Jesus Christ. I had to get some of those scary drops in to make up for all the bullshit that we just went through technically.
Scary hours.
But yeah, man, it's your Thursday night spot for NFL takes, topical tangents. Last week, my computer tapped out. This week, I had some issues getting everything onto the new computer. And, but yeah, we're here. Season preview. Football's here. Rams and Bills just wrapped up. Rams got their ass cheeks clapped. They got the cheek spread.
Spread like, never mind.
Spread like Italian butter.
All I know is I'm down like 82-0.
Yeah.
I'm up 44-0 in one league. In 2 leagues, I'm up like 44-0.
Well, remember when you were saying the Rams
I'm down like
pass?
80-0.
Remember when you were saying the Rams pass rush wasn't that bad?
When did I say that?
2 weeks ago, last week. Yeah, I can hear you. Just don't play with the cord.
All right, gotcha. All right, but yeah, I mean, I figured Bobby Wagner's there, so like Buffalo was going to try to pound the rock and then go off play action, but no, they just said, "Fuck it, we're just going to go strength on strength. We're just going to, because outside of Jalen Ramsey, we don't believe you got enough." So I guess the Rams got exposed, and maybe they should probably.
I think the Bills had like 6 sacks through like 3 quarters, like 2 quarters and some change.
Andrew Whitworth is severely missed.
The Rams O-line was looking like paper mache.
And Rob Havenstein just got a contract extension today. Just happened today.
But yeah, we'll talk more Rams next week. This week, we got a season preview, part 1. Got a special guest from the Raiders calling in. Special guest on behalf of the Cardinals. And a friend and family member of the show calling in on behalf of the 49ers. So, it's going to be an interesting next hour and a half. Next week, hopefully, we'll get some more Raiders and Chargers when everyone's not at SoFi covering the actual game.
Yeah, everybody and their mama at SoFi. I'm glad I was off work today. I'm in at 6 a.m. tomorrow, though. So,
especially after that clapping.
my fantasy team.
I think the worst part
I know I should have said Gabe Davis. I'm going to regret that.
I think the worst part is, like, the Raiders and Charger tickets on Sunday are, like, twice as much. The parking lot passes are, like, twice as much.
I want to go to that game so bad.
And now I know why so many Rams fans didn't want to go to the game tonight, because they knew.
Saving up to go to the Raiders game.
No, they knew what was going to happen. I mean, dog, if my team won the Super Bowl and someone had tickets in the 100 level for $200, damn sure I would be over there to watch that fucking banner drop from the Raptors or whatever the fuck it
Raptors,
is.
not Raptors.
Yeah, you know what I meant.
I mean, not everybody does.
You knew what I meant.
Not everybody
but
does.
But you
though.
knew what I meant.
I know. That's why I got to translate.
And I've always said it as Raptors, so fuck off.
It's purposely wrong. They're an NBA team.
So fuck off.
So the Raptors dropped their championship from the Raptors?
Yep.
All right. Well, at least you're going to die on that hill.
Yep. I am. Fuck off.
All right, then.
All right, but yeah.
Someone's ready to go, too, by the way.
Yeah, so last week, the NFL had that weird bye week between the preseason.
Because there's only 3 preseason games?
A lot of shit happened. We'll talk a little bit more about that.
Whole lot of people got paid.
People got paid. People got cut. People got traded. People went to the bench. People got hurt.
People got passed by all 32 teams and ended up on a team with no offensive line.
So we'll talk about more of that later. We also got some live reporting from the USC opening the beginning of the Lincoln Riley era.
Oh, yeah.
So we got a really impactful,
I get a question.
exciting show ahead. So tune in, fuck with us. And yeah, so with that, what the fuck do we got to talk about? Let's see if I even have the drop. Do I? Yeah, I do.
Let's talk about it.
Are we going to bring in our certain guest who's ready right now?
Oh, he's in the lobby.
He ready right now.
Oh, okay.
He ready to go.
Okay. Well, the Zoom is open.
The doors of the church are open.
Is he on the phone with you? Oh, there he is.
The doors of the church are open, everybody.
All right.
Ushers will be bringing the baskets around shortly. If you know you got diabetes or want aunt or a family member who got like elephantitis of the legs, please either sit in the back pew or on the very end of the pew in the first row, because you know, like, older black women love sitting in the pew. I don't know why they love sitting in the middle, but they will sit either on like the inner thigh of the pew or the very edge of the pew. But anyway, the guest we got on the line, honestly, this man, he really needs an introduction, but we're going to give him one because we had him on the phone a little bit too long. Sorry about that. This man covers the Raiders. He's fended off trolls. He runs shit down in the DMV, in particular Maryland. Pegged in with the White House. Very important human being. And honestly, man, he's one of my favorite Phils. He's like a top 5 Phil. Like both Phils are dope, but like this Phil is like, he might be the Michael Jordan of Phils or the Kobe Bryant of Phils. He's not the LeBron James of Phils. I'll give him that. He's not the LeBron James of Phils. But anyway, we got Phil Jones from the Unfiltered Truth, Raiders reporter, White House press coordinator extraordinaire. I'm gonna stop talking now.
What's up, Phil? Can you hear us?
Phil.
Yo. Can you hear us?
Anybody there?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Somebody has somebody on speaker.
Oh, shit. Can you hear us?
Yeah, y'all niggas mad, man.
Oh, well, Kenny just gave you a 5-minute introduction. But I guess you were on mute. My bad.
Yeah, you're on the air.
Yeah, you're on there.
I was like, bro, I'm in an introduction for like 5 minutes. I was like, I'm running.
Hey, hold on. How the fuck are you having technical difficulties and you work for NFL Network? Okay.
Hey, we're at Pete's spot. This is his laptops and shit. My laptop is working.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
His
you should work with high tech and low tech.
I can, but we're using his laptop.
Hey, he called you the Michael Jordan of Phils, just so you know.
I said you might be the Kobe Bryant of Phils. You're not the LeBron James of Phils because that's disrespectful. But you're up there in terms of Phils.
I love my hairline.
Yeah, like Phil Knight, Phil Jackson, Phil Collins, Phil Jones. That Phil Robinson. That's top 5 right there.
That can only be one Phil. It's like the Highlander. Hey, look, all I gotta say is this: for the motherfuckers that are playing fantasy football against me right now, if you're listening, you're fucked. You're done.
You got washed. Bills players or what?
It's over.
Bro, look, a couple of my leagues, and these fools allowed me to do this. Josh Allen, Cooper Kupp.
What?
Bills defense.
Wow, sick.
Oh, you want to know what's even sicker?
I got the Eagles defense, but
No, when I got Patrick Mahomes as my bench quarterback.
That's nasty.
That's fucking.
I hate motherfuckers who
You're
do that.
playing in an NFL fantasy league, aren't you?
You just want chaos. You chose
destruction.
Bad? If I couldn't get Mahomes, I had one league where I got Hurts.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, I had Matthew Stafford, and I think 2 of them were he's my backup.
He had like 12 points tonight.
7 points.
Hey.
Shit. All I know is this. That's why he stayed on that bench. For all you buffoons that took Cam Akers, I laugh in your face.
Who takes a Rams running back?
And Darrell Henderson. Thought you were slick.
Hold on. I took Darrell Henderson. I said, I'm going to just stash him on my bench. I am not sure about Cam Akers. I was told I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. Who the fuck do you think I am? Scam G?
Speaking of motherfuckers who don't know what they're talking about.
And scamming.
The Raiders coming into SoFi
with no right tackle. With no right tackle.
With no right tackle.
Hold on. Hold your titties, all right?
Break it down for us, Phil.
We wearing loose shirts over here.
Oh, God. First off.
That's a fat guy joke. That if y'all didn't understand that. That's a fat guy joke.
I'm going to spit my beer out right there. But first,
shout out to Heineken giving us beer for the night.
I'm going to say this. People are really sleeping on Jermaine Illuminor. Yeah.
Bro, nobody's sleeping on him, bro. No,
just don't want to be bothered with him.
On him.
Not since Texas A&M.
Listen, I went back and looked at
to his 12 starts in his career.
Is he giving you journalism payola?
Come on, bro.
Is he giving you fantasy? Is he giving you insider payola? Is he Dave Meltzering you? Is he Kenny Omega? Is he young?
Don't try to sell me on
Kenny Omega on you.
Don't try to sell me on a tackle who's been on 3 teams in 5 years and only started 10 games. Come on, bro.
Hey, listen.
I'm not Russell Wilson, and he is not Sierra.
Listen.
It's a bad deal either way.
Either way, the motherfucker did stop Bosa.
Did he stop Bosa, or was Bosa like, this is only me at like 30%?
You remember the 2020 game where they played Chargers in New England?
Mm-hmm.
He took him out of the picture every single time.
I mean, that's New England, though.
If they ran on his side, he took Bosa out of the way. Pass protection, he held it down.
Wasn't Bosa banged up that year, though?
Did he have a tight end chip?
Yeah, I thought Bosa was...
He didn't even have a tight end chip. Because
the
thing about it, now look, he was playing right side, but he also has switched over to the left side. Now, if you want to talk about a decent swing tackle that can play both sides, it's him.
Sure. But a starting right tackle on a playoff contending championship team?
That had all off season to get a right tackle?
I'm going to blow your fucking mind.
I'd rather have Falele.
Now you smoking meth.
That's a drop.
No.
You sure? Yeah.
Take Falele. They'd be playing patty cake with that bitch.
Abraham Lucas fell in the third round. That's all I'm saying.
Finish your sell on
Max Mitchell.
Trying to sell us a fucking 2002 Honda Accord.
Trying to sell me penny
Telling
stock.
us it's a fucking Tesla, bro. Let's hear it, Phil.
Trying to sell me AMC stock at $2 a share right now.
Yo, shut the fuck up.
I'm mad because they went up again. I was like, fuck, I missed it.
Hey, look, I'm just saying this. Jermaine Illuminor, he's going to be all right at that spot, okay? I'm not going to say he's going to be fucking amazing, but he's going to be damn sure better than when you had fucking Alex Leatherwood there.
I remember when y'all were hyped on Alex Leatherwood, and now he's on the Chicago Bears. I'm pretty sure I was more sure of Alex Leatherwood than I was Kenny Pickett's little hands. And guess what? All you dumb motherfuckers who drafted Kenny Pickett in fantasy, he's QB3.
I don't know. He QB2 now.
Somebody get hurt? Somebody die? Besides the Queen of England? Well, fuck that bitch. But anyway, go ahead. Get your point.
I'm crying, yo.
Shout out to all our dead ancestors.
Hold on. How you gonna say I was the one that said, "Oh yeah, we're all down for Alex Leatherwood"?
Nobody said that, bro.
Nobody said you and Phil. I'm gonna get Phil Robertson on the show one day. We're gonna hash this out.
Hold up, Pete. Hold on. Somebody said 15 years of Alex Leatherwood. Somebody said Alex Leatherwood was gonna be an All-Pro.
Who said that? God, 15 years of Alex Leatherwood?
My man was saying this shit like this about to be Rick and Morty forever and shit.
Fam, which one of y'all ops said that?
I ain't gonna say it live.
I know. Text me the name.
I think I got a good idea.
I think I know too. Yeah.
Go look in the chat.
Oh shit.
It's bad, bruh.
But yeah, man. So obviously we talked about the offensive line, but outside of that,
is Parham gonna start?
It's actually gonna be Simpson, but I prefer Parham because Parham is a little bit faster than Simpson when it comes to pulling.
Way faster. Ran like a 4.8, 4.9 at the combine.
Bruh, seriously,
Can pull and kick. I think he really should be the center, and they need to move.
I think the problem is McDaniels and them. They don't want to have a rookie out there, and I mean I understand. I understand that. If you feel that this O-line can get it done, you don't need to put that rookie out there, okay. Because when this O-line did come out there, 4 out of 5 out of them, they looked good. And when they did the
my whole thing though is they're one injury away from being in crisis.
And one bad Brandon Parker game.
Well, Brandon Parker's out for the year.
Wait, what?
He's been out, bro.
Wait,
he's been.
Yeah, bro.
What the fuck?
He's been out for like 3 weeks.
So look, you got Barton.
You see what I did with Phil?
Nah, this wasn't reported, bro.
Yes,
this is
it
news
was.
to me.
This is not news, bro.
Where?
This was week 2 of preseason.
Man, was it right after that game where you gave up 3 sacks?
You were probably sleeping and it went by on the ticker.
They officially said that shit when they were doing the 53-man roster.
Damn, I probably wasn't paying attention. I was just waiting to see what line they were going to throw out there. All I'm saying is I feel like the Raiders could have threw a bunch of money at Brandon Sheriff, and then it wouldn't matter who's at right tackle.
Brandon Sheriff playing guard. He ain't playing no damn tackle.
I know what I'm saying, but a good right guard makes up for a shitty right tackle.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
And I hate to say this because I don't like Texas players, but they passed on Sam Cosmi, and now he's on the Commanders about to start at guard or tackle.
I was upset about that.
That boy was nice.
That's what I wanted.
That boy's athletic. He could play. He reminded me of Eric Winston.
But yeah, man, outside of the O-line, what do you think is the biggest question mark for the Raiders this upcoming season?
Hey, look, biggest key for the Raiders, look, guys, Derek Carr needs to hit every single damn target.
No excuses.
He has the weapons like Oprah's giveaway. You have Adams, Waller, and who's about to get his contract done.
Because Knox just got paid.
No, he's about to actually get paid probably tomorrow morning.
We got a Phil bomb.
Everybody's been saying that shit.
Phil a bomber?
I know. Hey, chill out a little. I don't even think
filibuster. Nah, see, filibuster. We're gonna figure something with Phil.
But yeah, we're looking at both sides look like they had made an agreement. Looks like they're gonna get this shit done by tomorrow morning, by tomorrow afternoon, Eastern. So for you guys, it'll be morning time.
All right.
But knowing Drew Rosenhaus, he's probably gonna push through the midnight. He's probably the motherfucker. Hey, when he said he's gonna get something done, he's gonna get something done.
That's true.
I mean, Ken saw how I went over there and tried to stalk this fool. This man was like on his shit.
Like T.O. I was about to say like a T.O. invoice, but never mind.
And how about on the defensive side, Phil?
But I wanted to finish up with the offense.
And
then you got the Russian attack. This Russian attack is going to be able to eat. They're going to feast. So I'm going to be real. Jacobs is going to bounce back to being one of your 1,000-yard running backs. But Zamir White, he's going to probably have about, at best, maybe about 500-600 yards.
I mean, that's not bad for a mid-round pick. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. I think they're gonna. You know how like we've seen games where the Raiders could just blow out a team, and then they go conservative afterwards. McDaniels isn't gonna do this shit. He's gonna be like, "Fuck it. If we can go 180 miles per hour on your ass, we're gonna do it."
If they die, they die.
The defense, and it's been quiet. And you know what? I'm gonna be real. I'm actually glad that it's been quiet because there's a lot of shit that they're gonna be doing that's gonna be giving the Chargers a problem. I mean, really everybody the entire season. If you look at Patrick Graham's defense from when he's been with the Giants, and then you go back to when Miami and when he was really the linebackers coach in New England, the stunts, the schemes that he's used, nobody's set in one spot. Okay. There's going to be so much movement on the back end, you're not going to know who to follow. So I give you a prime example. What you saw from the Bills defense tonight, all that movement going around on the back end, making Matthew Stafford uncomfortable, you're going to see some examples of that right there.
I think this is the first year in my 20 years of like following and watching the Raiders where it's like I have the least amount of questions with the defense.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying they're going to be perfect, but they have a plan and they have a place for everyone.
Are they a top 10 defense? I'm not going to say that. Are they a top 15? Yes.
Which is more than we could have ever said. So I'm good with that.
Last year they finished right
18th. In the middle. Yeah, right in the middle of the pack.
So I mean, you can go over a few spots.
Yep.
You got a lot of key players. Your bench is actually better than expected now. Andrew Billings is getting the start.
Yep.
His whole thing was he needed to stay healthy.
He's a freaking nature. I knows.
And that's what I'm gonna like. That's the one thing I was like, damn, can he really do it? And then you look at this practice squad that they're loading up on. I'm gonna tell you this: keep an eye on Keelan Cole. I got a weird feeling that maybe one of these running backs go inactive, and they activate Keelan Cole.
That's a smart thing to do. I mean, they did trade away Trayvon Mullen, so it's like you're going less DBs.
I mean, did you hear what happened with Trayvon Mullen?
No, but now I want another T.
He's already on the injury list.
Oh yeah. They don't expect him to play this week,
and they don't expect he might not be able to play next week.
They need him. They need a corner. The Cardinals need a corner.
Bro, what happened to Antonio Hamilton, man? I'm crying.
Yeah.
Because matter of fact, former Raider.
Mm-hmm.
He finally got better and developed, and then that shit happens. I'm like, damn.
Yep.
Brother can't catch a break, but I wish the best for him. I hope he gets to 100% where he's not having any long-term effects where it won't affect his play. But the Raiders, hey, overall, they're going to dominate. And I hate to say it, people want to come out and say, you're a hater, you non-car lover. I'm going to say this. I don't have a problem with Derek Carr, but if he can't get this shit done with everything that's around him, he has no excuse.
Nope.
Even if you try to make this excuse for the right tackle shit, it's a load of bullshit.
Nope.
Okay? I'll tell you this shit right now. It's a load of bullshit because we looked at this fucking preseason. That O-line was able, even the fucking scrubs were able to get a damn push and run over motherfuckers and shit. We led everybody in the NFL in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. Now think about that. And you saw how they were able to get big plays with throwing to T. Billy, throwing to DJ Turner, Keelan Cole, etc. So imagine you didn't even have Darren Waller. Now you add him to the fact. They got weapons. There's no excuse for this team not to be high-powered and high-scoring. If I do recall with Josh McDaniels, they were scoring in Denver when the first year he got there, they were just loading up and just scoring on motherfuckers and shit.
All right, Phil. Well, we got to jump to our next guest, but thank you so much for the great stuff. Let the people know where they can find you and what stuff you got coming up.
Hey, y'all, ladies and gents, y'all can find me, Phil Jones, on Twitter. Excuse me, Phil Jones NFL on Twitter. Go on and give your boy a follow. Check the show out on YouTube, The Unfiltered Truth with a P. All right? Check it out. Get the truth. Get the scoop for your Raiders.
Yes, sir. All right, Phil. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you again.
All right.
Appreciate
you guys having me on. Sorry I kind of ran over, y'all.
You're good.
Let's go. Next time we're gonna plan out 30 minutes for you.
All right.
Peace.
Y'all take care tonight, okay?
Yes, sir.
Peace.
All right, peace.
All right, man. So with that, we jump over to the other side. The other side of a formerly Bay Area rivalry. I'm on a tangent, not how I planned it. NFC West preview. Jump into a friend.
Bang, bang,
a family member. A great
a Trojan?
Football analysis analyst. Sorry, I can't talk.
A Trojan. Bang, bang, Niner gang.
Mr. Erik Lampkins II. You know him from Good News Radio.
Getting that master's degree.
Culver City Observer. Et cetera, et cetera. Let's see. He's connecting the audio.
Long hair, don't care. Photographer extraordinaire. Damn good photojournalist.
Let's see. You connecting the audio. All right. Just like a Niners fan. There he is.
So, best thing to do is just like turn them down at the beginning and then
Go.
How it goes?
What's good, Erik?
Oh, what it do, fellas?
How you doing?
Man, I'm good. Today is a good day.
Because the Rams got the cheeks clapped?
You said what?
Because the Rams got them cheeks clapped?
Cheeks.
Jalen Ramsey got to move to safety? His real position?
No, listen. I've been trying to tell everybody Jalen Ramsey, was getting cooked last year.
I
did
too.
I was told that I don't know what I was talking about.
Stephon Diggs been working his ankles for years.
I think today, he's not even today. Jamar Chase exposed him in the Super Bowl. So
yep.
T. Higgins too.
Like a lot of people saw it today.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It seems like he's getting kind of lazy. Like he's not doing the fundamental stuff.
He gets really lazy and undisciplined with his eyes. I think he takes the bait, takes the cheese a lot of times.
For a guy who doesn't get a lot of picks,
and then
crazy.
And then he'll fall or like stumble when he's getting beat.
T. Higgins.
That's that corny DB stuff.
Hey, more power to it. The Rams like it. I love it.
I feel like he would probably just to be better for the defense as a whole if he moved to free safety. Realistically,
I don't know if he has the ability to be as rangy as they need him to be.
I mean, he was that in college. He was all over the place.
We'll see.
Man.
The years earlier, it's just one game.
But yeah, man, we got you here to talk about your Niners. So tell us, what are you the most excited about for this upcoming season? And what are you most afraid of for this upcoming season?
In all honesty, I'm a defensive guy, so what has me excited the most really is our cornerbacks. Charvarius Ward, Emmanuel Mosley, Jason Verrett is able to play, Ambry Thomas, Talona Hufanga, and Jimmy Ward. So our secondary, I think, has the potential of being elite. I don't want to say special because I think there have only been a handful of special secondaries throughout the history of the game. But I do think they have the potential of being elite. I don't think there's a better front seven in the NFL. And I'm not speaking as a homer, just knowing, the potential Drake Jackson has paired with Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead in the middle, Fred Warner, Azeez Al-Shaair, Drake Greenlaw. I think we have the best front seven in the league. So as long as we're able to stop the run, Drake and Nick will be able to pin their ears back and get after the quarterback, and life is going to be hell. Now, the key, this all hinges upon, health. If we start getting nicked up and banged up, if Nick Bosa goes down, if Drake Jackson goes down, I don't think we have enough in terms of depth on the outside to really be able to manufacture. We'd have to blitz a lot. And then outside of Fred Warner, I don't like any of our other linebackers in coverage. But that's what I'm most excited about, our defense. I believe this unit has the potential of being, of having an extraordinary season. What has me most concerned is Trey Lance. And having said that, let me take a step back. It's Trey Lance because now the pressure is on him to be just as good as Jimmy Garapolo, not to step in and, keep the ship afloat. He is now the captain of the ship, and we are going to go as far as Trey Lance, leads us. Having said that, when the 49ers came down to Los Angeles last year to training camp with the Chargers, I was able to be there on the sideline, and I saw up close and personally Trey Lance's potential. And I was telling everyone last year, you can check my Twitter at Elam Squared, where I was telling everyone his processing was a little slow. And people were, of course, everybody on Twitter is, a Twitter
processing.
If he can't process, then he's not a quarterback. I'm like, dude, he just came from college.
They probably thought you were talking about quad core. They thought you were talking about gaming.
And I'm like, having seen him up close and personal, like Trey was clearly a better passer of the ball. He's a superior athlete, and he's a better quarterback than Jimmy Garapolo. Jimmy had a handle on the offense, and he was able to process where the ball needed to go a lot quicker. Trey needed time to be able to sit, to understand what the playbook entails, what Kyle Shanahan is trying to do in terms of like the design of plays. But what I saw against the Texans last year in a must-win game, Kyle literally was forced to take off the training wheels, and I think Trey did an adequate job. I'm not going to say it was like a dynamic, it wasn't poo cheese. It wasn't piss poor. It was adequate. And it looked better than Jimmy Garapolo. There were definitely times where pressure was in Trey's lap that he was able to evade and elude, where Jimmy would have just either panicked and thrown the ball to who knows who, or have taken a sack. So having said that, if Trey is just as good as Jimmy Garapolo, I don't see a better team in the NFC. I don't see a more complete team in the NFC. Reason being, I think with everything surrounding Tom Brady and his marriage, him walking away from the game and coming back, him stepping away from the team for 11 days, I think that ultimately is going to weigh on the quality of play of the Buccaneers. The Rams, I think, the entire world saw that today. They're not that great. They're not that good. And let there be an injury to Bobby Wagner or Jalen Ramsey or Aaron Donald, that entire defense is going to fall apart.
Yep.
And so Green Bay, I think that's probably the only other threat.
They got to figure out the receivers, though.
And see, Aaron Rodgers is going to have to begin to trust those young guys early and often to build their confidence for the playoffs. So that's still in flux. So all the pundits who, have the Bucs, the Rams, and the Packers at the forefront of the conference, I think that's a little bit premature. But I can understand why. Trey Lance is an unknown commodity. But I think that's a gift and a curse. Because if he's as good as I think he is, And, as good as the front office and Kyle Shanahan believes that he is going to be a miraculous, marvelous player for my 49ers.
Yeah, so you talked a lot about the quarterbacks, and that was kind of the story of the offseason. But the other story of the offseason was obviously Debo. First, contract negotiations, and then he got paid. So for you, what do you expect of him this next season? Does he need to do it all again, or
no? He's not going to need to do everything, nor do I think he will. I know there are going to be a lot of people who are upset with drafted Debo, within the first 15 picks on their fantasy football team. I don't even think he's going to lead the team in receptions, let alone receiving yards. I think that's going to be Brandon Ayuk. I think Brandon Ayuk is going to be a target monster, and he solidifies himself as a top 10 receiver. And the 49ers will be seen as having, a top 2, top 3 wide receiver tandem. I think Debo is going to have a solid year. However, I don't think it'll be an all-pro year. I think he will have a Pro Bowl caliber year. But Debo will probably be utilized sparingly as a wide back. He'll probably have like 1 or 2 plays where he actually carries the ball. But in terms of, the crux of the offense being placed on his shoulders, I don't see a need for that to happen. Reason being, we have Elijah Mitchell, we have Jeff Wilson back, and quiet as kept, there's an undrafted free agent, surprise, 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 in the Kyle Shanahan offense named Jordan Mason. If you did not get to see him play during the preseason, you did yourself a disservice. Go back, watch the tape. This dude, he pops. And, I have several sources who cover the 49ers up in the Bay, and that was a name that I heard early and often during, the dog days of training camp, that Jordan Mason was the best running back in the backfield on that roster. And I think, with the chances that he was given in the preseason, he really showed that. So I think we'll be good. I think our guards, that's a big question mark. So I think if there was any like Achilles heel in our team, I honestly think it's the interior of our offensive line.
With that, I mean, Kittle, he may or may not play with a groin injury. But when you look at what this offense is, is that feedback from me or you? Go ahead. All right, so that contract, that extension that Jimmy gets, keeping him there, I get that that's kind of leverage and, insurance. But, you talked about Ayuk probably taking the next step. But what does this mean for Kittle with Lance there? Is he kind of the safety valve? Is he going to get less red zone targets? Because, the closer they get to the red zone, Lance might take off and run it in. What does this mean for George Kittle?
I think George will probably be in the top 4 in terms of receiving yards for tight end. I think it'll be contingent upon the game plan, what we ask and need of George. I really love the tandem of Juszczyk and Kittle, getting to the edge and setting the edge like for the run. So there will be games where George is utilized, as a blocker primarily in the run game or as a decoy. But there are definitely games where there's going to be a clear and obvious mismatch where George Kittle is going to go off. It wouldn't surprise me if George Kittle, had 2 games where he went for damn near 200 yards. I think it's very possible in this offense. But I don't think, if you're looking at things from a fantasy perspective, I don't think he's going to give you the output of like a Travis Kelce or a Mark Andrews or a Darren Waller. But I do think he will be in the top 4, top 3 in terms of total yardage. Now, when it comes to like all pro votes, I think the totality of his game will speak for itself. there isn't a better, blocker in terms of the tight end position than George Kittle. And then when you couple that, with the production that I think he'll have, I think he's going to be a red zone monster. I think, because Trey offers the ability and the threat of running the ball, that you have to account for that, which is going to put George in a lot of one-on-one situations, probably with a strong safety where he has a clear size mismatch. So I think, realistically, Kittle could probably score about 9 touchdowns this year.
All right, Eric. Well, you already gave us kind of your best case scenario, this team being the contender. But for you, as a fan, as someone who follows the game, like, what is the worst case scenario for this team?
Worst case scenario is exactly what happened 2-3 years ago, where the entire, roster is ravaged by injuries. We're calling people up off the street, trying to piecemeal game plans and the roster together. If Trey struggles, which I'm anticipating that he's going to have 2, maybe 3 games where he just looks, out of sorts. I think we can recover from that. I think, the team has shown the resolve and the resilience to be able to bounce back from adversity. The only thing that's going to derail this team is injuries. And if it's our year just to have a ton of injuries, then it's our year. There's nothing we can really do about that. And I think, probably at like maybe 2 positions, like if we lose our left tackle, season's over for the most part. If Trey goes down, we still have Jimmy Garapolo. I'd feel okay with that, but not with, again, the guard play that we have. Like Jimmy is immobile and those guys kind of struggle. Aaron Banks specifically, anchoring. He's a beast in the run game, but when it comes to, pass pro, he really struggles. Yeah. So if any of our guards go down, if our left tackle goes down, if Mike McGlinchey goes down, our right tackle, I'm concerned.
Yes. All right, Eric. So we got a couple minutes left, but if you want to just let the people know where they can find you, follow you, and anything big you got coming up.
And
something
big
got coming up. Check us out, The Talk of Troy, a brand new sports talk radio station coming soon from the University of Southern California.
Love it.
You can check me out at Elam Squared on Twitter, on Instagram, Elam 5 QUARED. So those are the social handles, and just check out the work coming out of Annenberg Media. Your boy is in grad school right now.
Love it.
Learning to be an investigative sports documentarian. So got a lot of
30.
things up my sleeves right now.
Love it. All right, Eric. We'll keep up the great work. We'll see you soon and talk to you soon. And prayers, energy, everything going your way as always.
Fight on.
I appreciate you. Fight on. Hey, touchdowns and tangents. You know what it is.
That's a drop.
All right.
Peace.
All
right, man. Well, that was Eric Lampkins.
I'm on a tangent.
Sorry, wrong drop.
Hey, quick question.
Yes, sir.
So I got somebody offering me like, hey, can I have Herbert? And I was like, what can I get? What can I give you to get Herbert? I was like, if you give me Jefferson, I'll give you Herbert.
Bro, we're not talking about your fantasy team.
Tyler Boyd and a running back.
We're not talking about your fantasy team.
That's a fair trade, though. Because my QB is better than literally both his QBs. I'm just saying, if you gonna get Herbert off,
bro.
me,
nobody cares about your fantasy team.
You got
got 4 fantasy teams now. All right, bro. We don't need updates of all your fantasy teams.
I'm saying just one because somebody really wanted Herbert, and I was like, so give me Jefferson.
Okay, so before
I give you a running back and a receiver.
Before, when you had one team, it made sense. You had an only child.
I'm like 3 paid.
You were back. Last year, you had 2 teams. One of them was paid. Okay, Cool.
Made it to the
Heating up a little
championship
bit.
at both.
Now you got 6 kids, bro. Ain't nobody trying to hear about your 6 kids, and you can't talk about one kid without talking about the other 5 kids.
Nah, I only talked about
So I
one kid.
digress.
I only talked about one, and I mentioned 2 other ones.
Exactly.
The other 3.
So
are
now
just-
you got to figure out a way to organically mention the other 3.
Nah.
So good luck.
I mentioned them.
You got 41 minutes.
I talked about the Bills
41
earlier.
minutes.
I talked about
to
the Bills
organically
earlier.
talk
That
about
covers
your
all
other
3 of
30
those.
teams.
I talked about the Bills earlier. That covers all 3 of those.
All right, so we're going to keep the preview going in the NFC West. Next guest, I talked to him a little bit earlier in the day. Arizona Cardinals. He has some slander for Cliff Kingsbury. Broke down some of the questions the Cardinals need to answer in the ultra-competitive NFC West. His name is Alex Clancy of the Locked On Cardinals podcast and Locked On NFL Network. They do a 3-day-a-week show. He had some good stuff, so here you go. As long as it starts playing. All right, and I'm here with Alex Clancy from the Alex, thank you for calling in. How are you doing today? What's the weather like in Scottsdale? Wait, how do I fucking there we
Turn
go.
up the volume?
Here we go. Yeah, and here we are in LA complaining about 90-degree weather, so
It's hot
I
as
can only
fuck.
imagine what's going on there.
Yeah, man. It's we're almost done. We're almost through it.
All right, so with that, Alex, obviously the Arizona Cardinals are off a great season last year. Headed into 2022, there's a lot of expectations. I believe ESPN put them at like 13-4. What are your expectations for this team?
You know, we're going to find out what the future of this team is going to look like this year. The Band-Aid's going to be ripped off. You know, is Kyler Murray elite? Can Cliff Kingsbury coach? Does Steve Keim put together a good roster? Is Isaiah Simmons a potential Pro Bowler? Is Hollywood Brown a wide receiver 1? Like, I have the Cardinals going 11-6, but not in the fashion that they did last year, where they get out of the gates hot and then, you know, kind of taper off when push came to shove about jockeying for position for winning the division and inevitably making the playoffs. It's been a weird offseason. You know, if anybody with an eye and a pulse could see that Steve Keim has favored bolting on offensive pieces and kind of not necessarily paying as much attention to the defensive side of the ball. So the offense is going to go, this team goes as the offense goes, and the defense is just going to have to be able to put things together with a bunch of young pieces to tread water and hopefully not give up a 30-burger a game.
So you mentioned a lot of stories, a lot of questions that have been lingering over the offseason. What to you has been kind of the worst storyline or worst kind of question that you've seen in the media?
You know, I think it's, even though this is low-hanging fruit, it's the studying clause, the film clause for Kyler Murray. Like, and I see it more as kind of an institutional failure that they had to put that in there. Like, okay, there's a couple different things. One, could everybody watch more film? Sure. Okay. And I know the tie to the video games is a joke. Like, Kyler Murray's stats before and after the new COD comes out is like a thing. It's like, all right, relax. Like, what we need to understand here is that Kyler Murray is growing in a natural progression of becoming an elite star quarterback in the NFL. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, they ruined it for everybody. Yeah. It's not supposed to be easy to be a quarterback right away. And Josh Allen is a better case study where he wasn't good the first 2 years. Kyler Murray had a better first 2 years than Josh Allen did. Josh Allen's third year was like, oh, sweet mother, look at what we have here. And I think that's what it's going to be like for Kyler Murray. And this is just Michael Bidwell saying, you know what, I've never paid anybody this much money before ever. I'm going to have a little bit more control because I sign your paychecks. And I think that's why it's more of an institutional failure. And especially after pulling it out of the contract after he got all that grief, I'd have more respect for him if he kept it in. It's like, but you know, that's going to be much ado about nothing. That's the nightmare fuel for the rest of the NFL, because Kyler Murray will have that as bulletin board material for this year and for the rest of his career.
Yeah, and it's crazy that you mentioned that, because I remember when they did that data survey or study, and I was like, well, this is interesting, but at the same time, you're ignoring a lot of other variables like his health, you know, who he had lined up at receiver, all the injuries they had on defense, like it's not just as easy as the new COD dropped and his performance did too.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. I think that's a joke. And I mean, would you rather have your quarterback playing video games or going out partying until 3:00, in Old Town Scottsdale? I feel like people think, and this is something that I implore people to think, like, I don't know when it happened in our society where it's just because people are quiet, they're expected to be dumb or weird or, not able to be leaders. Like, I don't understand when that started, but just because Kyler Murray's not a raw guy doesn't mean pound for pound he's not the best athlete in the building, and he's growing to becoming a great leader. And people just need to chill the hell out and let him do it. Let him grow up in front of our eyes.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And to the earlier point, I mean, I think if some of the Raiders draft picks play video games instead of doing what they do, we'd be in a much better situation too.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that, Jones is left. He's with the Raiders. Who kind of steps up for him throughout the whole season, because he was really your most consistent pass rusher the past few years?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest questions I've been asking this offseason. The pushback is, he wasn't that productive last year. Well, he had 5.5 sacks, including 2 strip sacks in week 1. I mean, very few pass rushers can do that in one game, let alone get double-digit sacks for as long as he has. The issue that the Cardinals are going to have is him and name recognition alone is what opposing offensive coordinators, opposing offensive line coaches have to account for. The fact that he's not there anymore, the pass rush will be fine. Vance Joseph is already implementing this pass rush by numbers. They're going to throw a bunch of guys, hope it works. Losing Chandler Jones is something that I was pounding the table for pretty much ever since he went and signed with the Raiders, and they gave him way more cheese than the Cardinals would have. So I understand that move. But in the draft, instead of trading for Hollywood Brown, in the second round, they could have drafted Drake Jackson out of USC. They ended up taking a tight end. They went offense instead of loading up on the defense, which is where the Cardinals needed the help. So it's gonna be interesting. There's some young pass rushers the Cardinals have, the elder statesman in Marcus Golden. Dennis Gardeck is a guy that the casual football fan doesn't know, but if he gets enough sacks this year, you're gonna understand and realize that he has the best sack dance in the NFL right now. But it is a gap that the Cardinals did not fill this offseason, excellently enough to just be able to pass up Chandler Jones for somebody else.
Yeah, and you mentioned on defense, kind of going with more blitz heavy to kind of make up for that. With that, you need some corners. And so I know they just acquired Trayvon Mullen, another former Raider, for really a bargain price. So how do you see him kind of fitting into that DB culture, which we know is really strong with the Cardinals, with 2 of the best safeties in the league?
Yeah, see, we're splitting the room here. The safety room and the cornerback room are 2 different things.
Yep.
Buda Baker and Jalen Thompson, in my opinion, are top 3 safety tandem in the NFL. And that's not a homer take. I think homer takes are bad for business. Yeah. I'd much rather speak to you like an adult and tell you what I like. And Jalen Thompson just got a contract extension. Good for him. Those are 2 of the best moves that Steve Keim has made. Best move Steve Keim ever made was trading up to draft Buda Baker at the top of the second round a handful of years ago. The corners leave something to be desired. After Patrick Peterson left, which was the right thing to do, he was not going to benefit. The team wasn't going to benefit from him being for him wearing that jersey anymore. Byron Murphy, we don't know if he's a cornerback 1 yet. We don't know if Marco Wilson is a cornerback 2 yet. There's a guy at camp, Antonio Hamilton, who went up and down from the practice squad last year, who is looked to be the CB2, and he comes back from a freak kitchen injury that he had where he dropped hot oil on himself. Trayvon Mullen, that move was a good move by Steve Keim, and you just hope, and he's hobbled and may not play week 1. So that's been the issue with him over the extent of his time in the NFL, his inability to stay healthy. It's just another thing that, this is what happens when you wait during free agency, don't make any splashes, and then, there's only a certain amount of players that are available via trade or free agency towards the tail end, some have injury concerns, et cetera, and that's what the Cardinals are dealing with in the cornerback room. Hopefully he'll be able to make an impact. Like when he plays at his best, he's definitely able to strengthen that cornerback room.
Yep. All right, and just moving it on to this week, what are some of your keys for beating the Chiefs? And really, what's your worst case scenario for Sunday?
The way the Cardinals can beat the Chiefs, there's a couple things. One, they've got to get to Patrick Mahomes and not just pressure him because he's one of the most elusive quarterbacks out there. They've got to disrupt this offense. They've got to disrupt the Chiefs offense from the pass rush. And it's something that is difficult to do, especially with the strength and offensive line. But that's something that absolutely needs to be done. They can't give up the big play, which goes hand in hand. MVS is a nightmare. I mean, he's a 75-yard touchdown catch. He's the dictionary definition of it. And having Patrick Mahomes now, where he loves to throw the deep ball almost as much as Aaron Rodgers does, that's going to be something the Cardinals can't do. And I think that with the injuries that they have, DeAndre Hopkins is out, Zach Ertz is questionable. Rondale Moore came up lame earlier today with a hamstring injury. We don't know the extent of that. So I think the biggest road to victory for the Cardinals on the offensive side of the ball is to run it, eat clock, get chunk gains. The best defense against Patrick Mahomes is keeping his ass on the sidelines with your offense being on the field. So, I mean, those are the three things. It's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of points scored, but I would like to see the Cardinals slow this game down. Just slow it down. Keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline as much as possible.
And the contrary to that, what would be your worst case scenario?
The Cardinals go down 21-3 at the end of the first quarter. It's because we know, everybody knows. I mean, you guys play Patrick Mahomes twice a year. They can score 3 touchdowns in 3 minutes in the first quarter if you don't scheme correctly against their offense. They could put up 50 points any game. And it seems like the Chiefs, going up 2 scores midway through the third quarter, they kind of cool the jets and then start eating clock, running the ball.
As far as covering.
Nobody asked me this. It's great. My dad asked me.
We like to peel back that fourth wall when we can.
No, I like it. I like it a lot. I need to get better at finding positive spins to crappy situations. And it's difficult. It's difficult for me because I struggle sometimes. And I've talked to a lot of people about this. I don't think it's necessarily a struggle definition-wise, but it's something to enrich the knowledge of my listeners and viewers is say I've been riding Cliff Kingsbury hard. I don't think Cliff Kingsbury is equipped to be an NFL head coach. I just don't. He's never won an important NFL game, and I could talk about that every podcast from now until,
I wish my co-host was here because he would totally agree with you. But continue.
No, it is what it is, and it sucks. And, people will look at Cliff's record in the NFL. They went from 5 to 8 to 11. It's well, he's the best, whatever. And I get it looking at the numbers. But if you watch games, it's he's not equipped second one to the end of the game to do it. So I need to find positive spins for that where it's well, this is what he has done well, things like that and really balance it. And I struggle with that because I like to inform people in a way that's what's right in front of them. When you're getting fluff from elsewhere, I like to talk to them, sit them down and be listen, this is what's going on. Be a fan, be a diehard fan. Absolutely. But you got to see what's in front of you also and be informed that way. So I try to balance it and I'm getting better at it, but that's pretty much the main thing that I'm trying to improve upon this season.
Well, because at the end of the day, it's the fans who buy the tickets, buy the merch. It's us who talk about it. So if we can't talk about what's really going on, then we should be getting checks from the NFL.
That's true.
All right, Alex. So go ahead. Let people know where they can find you. Anything exciting that you got coming up in the next few weeks. How can people keep up with you?
Yeah, Locked On Cardinals, Monday through Friday. You can get it free and available wherever you get your podcast. Just search Locked On Cardinals. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. I'll do a video and podcast every day. I'll be doing live halftime shows every week, every game on YouTube and Twitter Spaces. You can follow me on Twitter at Clancy's Corner.
Love that. All right, Alex. Well, thank you so much for making some time with us. Best of luck to your Cardinals, and we'll be looking forward to your coverage.
Sweet, man.
All right. Well, that was Alex Clancy of Locked On Cardinals. Shout out to him for coming on to the pod. First time Cardinals guest. Shout out to Locked On Podcast Network. Every time we have a guest on, they usually bring some good stuff, so shout out to them.
Told you about Cliff Kingsbury.
But yeah, Kenny, with that, do you want to speed through the NFL stuff, or you want to take a break, go through USC, and come back to pro?
You can just hit this USC stuff real quick.
All right.
And run through everything else.
Without further ado.
So, I'm going to just play it, and then I'll explain. So, college football news, USC beat Rice 66-14 in their home opener, season opener, first game of the Lincoln Riley era. Most points scored since the Pete Carroll era, because Clay Hill never scored 60 in a game. They pretty much put up about 530 yards of total offense. USC at over 200 yards rushing. 280 yards rushing. They had 3 pick sixes, which is a modern day record. A 93-yard pick six by Kalen Bullock, a 40-yard pick six by senior linebacker transfer from Alabama, Shane Lee. And then a pick six by senior linebacker Raylan Goforth, whose brother played at shit. All right. And Caleb Williams pretty much went off, completed like 86% of his passes for about 338 yards, 2 touchdowns. Heisman, I guess, candidate, Biletnikoff winner, Pittsburgh transfer, Jordan Addison. He had 5 catches, 54 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's one of the people I talked to. Talked to Mario Williams Jr., who also was at Oklahoma and transferred. The USC receivers pretty much ran roughshod.
I thought you were going to play it and explain it later. Sounds like you're explaining it now.
Well, I want to say, like, in terms of the people you're hearing, you're going to hear Addison and Mario Williams.
You buried the lead.
Senior offensive lineman Justin Diedick, who has an amazing mustache, and then you'll hear senior linebacker Shane Lee. So Here goes.
Are you on the Bluetooth?
Hold up. Am I? Bluetooth.
It should be working.
Okay, let's try.
We are connected.
Okay, and time to play it. Last year, the summertime to now.
Just on, and just glad to go 1-0.
What's the biggest thing you feel like you improved on? I mean, after already having the year that you had last year, the summertime to now.
Just my mindset, just wanting to be out there, because some people who went out of war may be a little bit relaxed, but I'm still grinding like, like it was nothing.
What do you feel like you have left to kind of improve on your game?
I got a lot to improve on. I say one thing that I want to improve on is how I do without the ball in my hands, and just to get that on film. So that's one area that I want to improve on and show people that I could be dominant without the ball in my hand as well.
As far as like the receiving group, I mean, you guys needed to run the ball, you did. As far as like just holding everybody accountable for blocking, like how does that receiver group kind of challenge each other in terms of stock blocking and all that?
It's just what you put on film. You gotta really want to. You just gotta show that you really want to be out there every play, and not just when the ball is coming your way.
What was the biggest adjustment that the receivers made kind of after that first quarter, that half start you guys got off to?
We didn't really make no big adjustments. We just came in here and talked about what do we need to do, and we got it done.
How'd you all celebrate Lincoln's first win in the locker room?
Great, man. Everybody.
Because Coach Riley told me what he wanted, and I was like, I can't mess that up. I was more nervous about that, I think. other things.
Let's do one more.
As a leader, how do you feel like you've grown on the O-line, and how do you feel like the younger guys gravitate towards you?
Yeah, I think it's important that as a leader you're just consistent and you do the things that the coaches tell you to do all the time, and they'll gravitate towards it. And I'm not saying I'm the example guy, but they have a guy that they can point to and be like, hey, listen, do what this guy does, Brett Voorhees. And I think that's important you have that on the team, because now they have something to look up to and something that they want to develop to. So I think it's just important to be consistent and buy into the program, buy into what the coaches are saying.
Thank you.
Especially playing together. This is the first day we got to step on the field against an opponent, somebody that wasn't in the same color as us. So it was really good for us to be able to communicate, feel what it's like to be on the field next to each other, like in a real situation, and be able to execute. So it was really good.
Caleb, you guys
Well, that was kind of a shit show, but that's more of an indicator of the status of audio equipment and consumer electronics.
No, like that room was packed. The way they had too many chairs in there.
Did you listen to what I said?
Yeah.
I said it wasn't your fault. I said it's the consumer electronics.
And I was bumping back. Like, had you been in there, you'd have seen how
well, because the thing is
hot it was.
So here's
the
thing.
God.
So here's the thing, right?
Ooh,
So
it was hot in that room.
So the microphones we're using to podcast right now, right?
Yeah.
They are programmed to pick up speech in a certain direction, right? That's why when I talk like this, it sounds different than if I talk like this versus if I talk right here directly into the microphone.
Or like this.
The problem is the microphones in most phones, laptops, TVs, consumer electronics, they take in audio from all sources. They take audio in from everywhere. That's why you have to put it on a surface and kind of point it towards the direction of a source to kind of block out some of the audio. But even then, you're still getting a lot of it. And then a lot of the noise canceling things, a lot of the AI, like even I was playing with the board trying to get it to block out some of the noise. But the thing is, that processing is focused on filtering out things that aren't speech, right? So like the different, like sliding of the chairs, like, things like that. But somebody talking off at the other podium or talking behind you still sounds like speech, right? So the microphones don't automatically filter it out either because they think it's the same person talking.
Somebody was like heavily mouth breathing behind me.
But yeah, so hopefully, conflict of interest here, but yeah, hopefully if one of my clients takes off, they'll actually fix that problem because they've actually essentially taken the pro microphones that we're using here now in this podcasting environment and have scaled it down to phone nano microchip size. So yeah, something to look forward to. But yeah.
No. And yeah, like also, LA Coliseum security really gets on my nerves.
Worse than the Rose Bowl?
Yeah. Like,
they're probably the same people.
Don't look at my
same people. Probably the same group.
It's the same group. In some cases, it's different, but don't tell me I have my credential that I can't get on the fucking field, bro, when it clearly says I can. And you're telling me I can't get on the field. So I got to walk around till you're not there to get down on the field. And then I missed the first, 15 minutes of the press conference. You fucker.
Hey, man, it was your first game day experience. You live.
It was actually my first time going to the press conference.
That's what I mean. So it's a learning experience.
It just annoyed me. Like, once I know where to go, it's like, okay, cool. I know where to go.
It's a learning experience. It's a process. It's the first time. The next time will be better.
Instead of 5.
Next time will be better. But yeah, overall, how did you feel being there?
It was
What
great.
did you take away from the environment?
It was hot as fuck. It was actually the hottest USC game since 2017 when they played Western Michigan. It was 98 degrees, but they clocked it at 94, and it was 60,000 people, 60,113 people, whereas UCLA had 20,000 people show up. Yeah.
In 100,000 people stadium?
Yep, but I think the Dodgers might have been playing. But still, they only had 20,000 people, and I think they played HBCU. I forget who UCLA played week 1. Might have been Bowling Green or some shit.
I think it was Bowling Green. That sounds right.
Yeah. So USC, like, the offense is in rhythm. They don't key in on one guy, even though Addison's the best guy they got.
So
the
question that I had from this week, and it's not on your segment, but we should probably talk about it. Essentially, the
Pac-12
college football playoffs governors got together and essentially said, we're going to have a 12-team playoff by 2026. And you guys can figure out the rest of the details. And, hey, if you vote it in, we can have it as soon as next year. But usually that board allows the, I think they said commissioners to kind of decide things. And then they just kind of, like, put a stamp on it. But this time around, the commissioners couldn't come to a consensus, even though they were rumored to do the 12 playoffs last year. But this time, the college football playoff just took it into their own hands and were like, yeah, we're doing this. You guys can figure out the rest. But, yeah, so bringing it back to USC, my question is, if USC wins this next 2 years, goes 11-1 or 12-0, wins the conference championship, and finds their way in the playoffs, and I don't know, maybe even advances, or I don't know, maybe wins a title. Does that change anything for them? Like, does that change? I mean, obviously it's going to make the Pac-12 more money as a whole.
The Pac-12 is the
and it's
lowest.
going to put them on a better, it's going to give the whole conference more visibility, but does that change anything for the future prospects?
Here's the thing, it won't. It'll just be USC getting richer.
So it'll just make it even worse.
USC's leaving regardless.
It's like pretty much that bomb ass sex on the way out when you already with someone else.
Yeah,
I got it.
It's like,
I just want to see.
It's
USC's like, thanks leaving. For one last memory on my way out, sort of thing.
Yeah, like this
was our last great Christmas.
Yeah,
I got it.
You might get ghosted after this. It's kind of like that. Here's the thing: UCLA got shied in their with the UC Regents on why they want to leave, and it's like if the Pac-12 tries to make UCLA stay, USC can easily just come in and say, "Y'all standing in between us and $7 billion right now, so we're leaving, we're done." And the way Oregon got violated, they got five-finger puppeted. 49-3 against Georgia. Bo Nix is terrible. Just give Trenton Thompson the reins. 5-star QB. But, yeah, Bo Nix is not it. He's not the guy. He is not.
Was he a 5-star?
He was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school.
So what makes you think this other 5-star is going to be any
better?
No,
this dude's he's clearly better. And he's been waiting a long time. All I'm saying is Bo Nix stunk it up at Auburn. And he stuck it up at Oregon. And not only that, they lost 49-3 to Georgia, who lost pretty much their whole defense, their whole front seven.
Good question, dude.
That fucking edge.
He said things have been great. Yeah, no shit. So what door you want me to leave?
You have $17 million on your contract.
We're gonna buy you out.
We're gonna give it all to you.
When do you want?
When do you want me to leave?
And
what door you want me to walk through?
What door you want me to walk through, brother? That shit was he's hilarious. Like some people have their run. I had like 5 years or 6 years.
He's like some people's 50, some people's is 1,
some people's 12.
I got 6.
I'll take it.
It was my dream. I'll take it. Yeah, but other college football news. Clearly, Dabo Swinney getting a 10-year, $150 million contract
extension.
That's wild to me because he's basically the antithesis of where college football is trying to get to. Like literally.
Antithesis.
Whatever, you know what I mean.
And also,
he's the counter argument to what college football is trying to be.
Saban.
I don't. Yeah,
he's the only person who's really had success against Nick Saban.
But I don't think. But Dabo doesn't have the same like Christian Carolina undertones as Saban, I feel like.
But he does have some slave plantation undertones. Some of his personal beliefs seeped into the program.
I wouldn't say
he had to apologize for it.
I wouldn't say it's slave plantation. I think it's more
southern,
just like
southern like, pastime,
like
old
toxic.
boy shit.
Yeah, like just like toxic
which is some
work
slavery
culture.
shit. Journalists in the South will tell you that.
Yeah, but no. I mean, I wouldn't say.
No, it's a yeah.
I don't think it's a Houston Texans situation. I think it's more.
No, it's not
like
Houston Texans. It's a what was it? Was it Django or no? Not Django. It was the one where no, it might have been Django. It was like he grew up with a dude on a plantation. He always treated him well, and then one day the white dude on the plantation, who they were cool when they were kids, he hits him.
I think it's more of like
it's one of those.
I just don't give a fuck about you less than like you're inferior because of race. Like I think it's more of just like he just doesn't care about his players as much.
No, it's more like you have your place, football player.
Exactly. Yeah.
You shouldn't have all this autonomy and freedom.
Yeah.
I give you clothes. I give you everything you
exactly.
need.
I think it's more of a military thing of like you're
That's
just
not
another
military though.
You're another pawn in my scheme.
The heart of South Carolina.
Like you're another. No, I'm talking about Alabama. I'm not talking about.
Well, he went to Alabama as a walk-on.
I'm talking about Dabo is more of like that holier than thou
Friday Night Lights, Varsity Blues type
Christianity shit versus like Saban. I think is more of just like that
win at all costs.
Win at all costs. Like I don't give a fuck.
Nothing's
on
ever
to the
good
next
enough.
one. Nothing's ever good enough. Yeah, exactly. Like just that toxic fucking drill sergeant, corporate CEO shit.
Who runs the state?
But Swinney is more of like that. Oh, like we're gonna win and also be great, but like not really do either.
I mean, they were struggling against Georgia Tech before they pulled away.
That's what I'm saying.
Juju Ugalele might have a problem because that new QB is on his ass.
And if we really want to talk about it,
he was ranked 4th in the country.
Clemson players kind of bust, and so do Bama players. Bama players bust even more.
Clemson is ranked 4th in the country. USC is ranked 10th now. Baylor, I think, is 8th or 9th. USC plays Stanford. They gave up 143 yards rushing to Rice. It was very close in the first quarter. It was like 21-7. They break off a 55-yard run, and the next play it's like a 93-yard pick six.
Who did Stanford beat last week?
I don't even know who Stanford played last week.
No.
I do not remember, but if the way USC was hemorrhaging in the run game and their run defense, they show up like that against Stanford at Stanford, yeah, it's gonna be a blowout. Stanford gonna rush the field on them. That'd be embarrassing.
Colgate. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Toothbrush company?
A college.
I know Colgate's a college. I was joking.
The Colgate Raiders. I have no idea where they are. I've never heard of them. But yeah, man, the other big story that you have on here is the flooding in Mississippi, water crisis in Mississippi.
State of emergency.
Yep.
They were given about $300 $3 billion almost to fix their water infrastructure a couple of years ago. Given another $300 million. Last year is fixed between that and Brett Favre scamming. Brett Favre and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase scamming people for public speaking appearances they never actually did for upwards of like $7 million. It was
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre. And it was even more than that. Marcus Dupree was in on it too, but his was mostly for horses. He got money for that, but like DiBiase straight up scammed.
Marcus Dupree is the greatest player that never was, right?
Oklahoma, 30 for 30.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you factor in the fact that Deion Sanders had to get guys up in hotels to where they could take a shower. The water's so bad They don't even want you boiling it. They don't even want you using it. That's how bad the water system is in
not
the state
to make,
of Mississippi right now.
And not to make it
Mayor's
political.
telling everybody to leave. It's an 80% black. Mississippi's like 80% black.
And not to make it political, but also like we just gave out billions to Ukraine. We just gave out billions to all these other countries. We just forgave trillions in student loans. But hey, motherfuckers can't.
They ain't forgave it yet.
Motherfuckers can't drink water in a developed state.
And it's been like that for a while now.
And guess what?
Flint still fucked up.
That's what I was going to say. And guess what? They're not the only state either. So that's...
LA kind of got fucked up water too, especially in Compton.
But yeah.
And the water aquifers drying up in Denver.
But yeah, and just to go back to college football playoff, I just feel like you can't say like, we can't add another 3 or 4 games. Like, bro, just get rid of these fucking first 0 week 1, week 2. Like, cool. We got Oregon and Georgia. That was supposed to be a good game. And guess what? It was a fucking clappy fest that nobody watched. So, hey, maybe we don't need these big out-of-conference games even.
Utah, 7th ranked Utah, lost to unranked Florida in the swamp because Cam Rising threw an interception in the end zone when the game was tied, and all they had to do was kick a field goal.
I mean, but at least that's a good game, and that puts Utah on a radar of another state that's
as
far
losers. As losers, I mean, they lost the Rose Bowl and they lost to Florida.
But they're there, bro.
No, you're only there if you win.
I guess, but yeah, but still, it still gives them exposure.
And
at least they didn't get clapped like Oregon.
Well, Alabama plays Texas this week, and I pray to God they throw 80 up.
Oh yeah, no, Texas. I'm a
Bama fan this week. I hope they drop 80 on Texas. Just nonstop, just liver poundings. I'm praying for it.
All right, anything else for college football?
Yeah. So the Pac-12. So what's his face? So USC's ranked 10th. Utah fell all the way down in the rankings. Oregon, I don't think is ranked at all. What is shit? There's another Pac-12 team that had a huge.
Oh, nobody cares about the Pac-12. You literally just said nobody.
Yeah,
cares
but
about
I'm
the
saying
Pac-12.
it goes to my point. Like when we'll play later if Oregon has a bad season, but pretty much Dan Lanning said, "Oh, Oregon's not chasing USC," and I'm like, "You're clearly not, because at least USC struck blood against Alabama. They scored a touchdown. They may have got the shit kicked out of them and made to say they're your bitch in front of the whole world, but at least they got a punch off. Like, you didn't get a punch off. They just mounted you and just made you say whatever they wanted. Like, they made you, like, Oregon got made to be Georgia's whore on national television, and we couldn't look away. Like, I'm scarred at the amount of ass whooping that they took. And all I know is when you talked about earlier, like, oh, if USC runs the table, wins the national title, it only deepens the void that will exist since the commissioner of the Pac-12 decided to come out and say at Pac-12 Media Day, when I asked him, are you considering adding other teams from Mountain West schools? Not even like, hey, you think about merging with the Mountain West? Or you think about taking and adding Mountain West schools that have been successful against you? Nope, not at all. Well, you just alienated the one conference that probably could have helped you stay alive. But now that USC is going to be leaving, they're taking all that success with them. This is going to be this. You'd be better off USC being trashed the next 2 years, and UCLA being trashed the next 2 years, so you can at least say, well, at least we got other schools to promote that are good. Now it's like Utah lost. They're out of the playoff. All these schools are out of the playoff picture except USC. And USC's point just goes again, we're carrying this fucking conference. So there you go. That's college football. And by the way, Jackson State even despite having to live in motel rooms and do all that crazy shit with everything going in Mississippi, they won against I want to say Florida A&M. Yeah, I think they beat FAMU like 59-3, something like that. Sunshine Classic. The team that lost to North Carolina. It was bad.
All right, first up, Saints safety Marcus Maye was arrested in a roid rage incident. Take your tangent on that, Kenny.
Not a good look. Apparently, allegedly, he pulled out a pistol too. See how all that shakes out. But I mean, gun violence in Louisiana, it's kind of an issue. So I hope he ends up being okay.
Hey, people can't drive in New Orleans, so I get it. But people also can't drive in New York, but it's easier to get around in New York, so I don't know.
You can pull out a pistol on somebody in Louisiana, and it's go time.
Next up, the Manning cast is back. Take your tangent, Kenny. Eli and Peyton.
Dope. Hopefully some more accidental F-bombs. But those two just make for great conversation.
They're just like...
They're brothers. They're happy, and they're married, and they're somewhat colored in their foreheads. Give me a hug, bud.
See, that's the kind of shit we need on TikTok, bro. What the fuck? But yeah, it's funny because it's like they're two white dudes who come from an affluent family and they're rich now and they're quarterbacks, but for whatever reason, like they're still relatable and they're still able to like get athletes to kind of peel back that extra layer and really like not just talk shop, but like share who they are a little bit more than other broadcast duos. So that's exciting. Looking forward to that. All right. This has been an ongoing story the past few weeks, but the Ravens mascot injured his knee a couple weeks ago. Had to have surgery. They did an open trial for him, but now it's official. He'll be done for the year. So take your tangent on the Ravens mascot being out.
It's a shame, but I mean, it's been mascots bowling over kids lately, so I guess he just caught the tail end of the karma. It's unfortunate.
Man, I saw some mascot like 2 weeks ago give someone like a nasty ass stiff arm, bro.
Yeah,
that shit
stiff arming the shit out of
bro.
these little kids.
I'm not even mad,
Child
bro.
abuse, bro.
Nah, fuck that. You put me in that stinky ass suit in 100-degree weather outside, and it's sweaty already, and that suit probably already naturally smells like piss. Got a piss air freshener in it. Like, I'm running over some fucking kids, bro. I know you're running over some kids in the mascot suit,
I can't wait
too.
till my nephew get bigger. I'm running his little ass over.
All right. Next up, the Broncos signed Russell Wilson to a 5-year, $245 million contract with $165 million guaranteed. Take our tangent.
It's
It'll be a hard deal to trade next year. It'll be a hard deal to move.
Repeat that again because it's kind of plane went by. I couldn't hear. A helicopter went by.
Russell, you fell asleep, but okay.
I didn't.
You did.
I really didn't.
You did.
I didn't.
I'm telling your mom, bro.
I didn't.
I'm telling your mom, bro.
I didn't.
I'm literally telling
bro,
you.
repeat the question. The fucking bird.
Russell Wilson got a 5-year, $245 million contract with $165 million guaranteed. Take her tangent.
I hope they know what they're doing. I hope they know what they're doing. Hope those receivers stay healthy. That line keeps them upright.
Because that's going to be a hard contract to move.
For Nathaniel Hackett, that's going to be... You got to have success at the gate offensively. And their defense was ranked top 8th in like, shit. They're going to have trouble. That's the top 8 defense, but they're going to have trouble if he struggles as a play caller. But, I mean, he's worth the money, so kudos to him because Seattle wasn't going to pay that.
Saints center Erik McCoy agreed to a 5-year extension with $53.7 million and $40 million in guaranteed. Take or tangent.
Hold on. Let me think about that one. Say it again.
Can you just admit? I'm not saying it again unless you admit you fell asleep.
I didn't fall asleep.
You literally fell asleep.
No, I
literally
didn't,
saw
bro.
you drop the mic. I saw your upper lip shake because you snored.
I bit my lip, bro. I didn't snore. What the fuck are you talking about?
Why are you fucking lying, bro? You are literally falling asleep right
You don't
now.
want to fucking say it again.
You are literally
I can't see. I don't have my
right
glasses
now.
on.
Put your fucking headphones on. What
They're
the
hot,
fuck?
bro. It's fucking hot in here.
Jesus Christ. Who
It's
cares?
fucking-
You're a fucking professional.
It's fucking hot, bro. I have to take these shits
The
off.
Saints signed a 5-year extension with Erik McCoy, $63 million, $40 million. We're supposed to be starting through
center.
this, bro. You're not even fucking paying attention.
Starting center. I'm just like, if Trevor Penning doesn't
Stand up if you have to. Fuck. Wake your ass
I gotta
up.
piss. I don't want to do that.
Wake your ass
I'm
up.
not asleep, bro. That's fucking. Now you got to everybody I'm sleeping.
I got a video of you sleeping, bro.
That was like 6 hours ago.
I'm gonna get you sleeping again. Watch.
No,
Watch.
you're not.
Watch.
All right, bottom line
I'm gonna
is-
have an extra long rant today just so you fall asleep, and then I'm gonna record.
I
you.
didn't think this was a take or a tangent. It's just he got paid.
All right.
Good for him for getting paid. He's one of the higher paid centers.
Rams made a couple extensions this week. You already mentioned giving Havenstein a bunch of money, $34 million, $24.1
His ass
million
whooped against the
guaranteed.
Bills.
But they also extended Les Snead and head coach Sean McVay through 2026. So take your tangent. The Rams keeping their leadership intact.
Good for them. So you stay a championship. Not dynasty, not a dynasty, but that's how you stay in that championship window.
To me, it's not really surprising because, I mean, nobody else is going to want to take on a team with 2-3 superstars on the wrong side of 30 and no draft picks. So you got to keep the gang together and just keep it rolling as long as you can. Keep rolling the dice at this point. All right.
Much.
Jimmy Garapolo, contract extension a couple of weeks ago. He's now the highest paid backup quarterback. A lot of people thought he was going to get cut, traded, et cetera, et cetera. He had a non-guaranteed deal up until he signed that contract extension. He now also has a no trade clause.
Like $6.5 million.
So, take or tangent, Jimmy Garapolo getting that extension for the Niners a couple weeks ago.
I mean, he got the leverage. He utilized his leverage properly. You know, if this Trey Lance thing, we want you as like
It's
a
not
breaking
that
case
bad.
emergency, and honestly, there's nowhere else across the league for you to play. So
It's pretty much
better
like
off here.
that side chick that you can't let go of, so that they pretty much just dictate the terms, and they're like, "Yeah, you're gonna do exactly what I say, you little bitch." Yeah.
Wow. Yep. It's seems kind of personal, but yeah.
All right. Emmanuel Sanders announced his retirement, signed a 1 day with the Broncos. Take your tangent.
That's dope. 12 years in the league. Put his mind to rest, pretty much.
I just wanted to see him play with the Chiefs one time for the one time.
Sick. You sick, bro.
Just because he signed there and then backed out. Let's just see what that looks. I mean, he wasn't great last year, but I think he still has juice. I think he could still could have added some.
Still a great route runner.
He still could have added
can
something
catch.
to the team.
Yeah, I'm surprised he can go back to Buffalo, but I get why.
Yeah, I get why too. There's teams that need him, but the teams that need him for a reason.
Yeah.
Because either they ain't got a quarterback, or they got no receivers, or they got too many damn young receivers. So,
Exactly.
I get it. All right. Last one for this segment. But your guy, and apparently the Rocks guy, cut from the same cloth.
I'm going to play sleeper on this one.
Aaron LeBron James Donald almost retired. Yes, Aaron Donald's new nickname is LeBron James. Yes, it is. Aaron Donald, you heard it here first on this podcast. Aaron Donald almost retired. Take your tangent on us continuously hearing about how Aaron Donald almost fucking retired.
I don't care.
I know.
Like, there's too much money on the table for you to sit up here and be like, you know what, I'm just not going to play again. Like, bro, you're almost at 100 career sacks.
I feel like this is that fucking Donda Sports influence,
You
bro.
better not pull a fucking Brett Favre.
I feel like this is that Donda Sports fucking... It's like... It's that whole thing like that Kanye does with his album releases, fucking with his record label,
Fighting with Easy,
like fucking releasing it 3 different times in 3 different ways, and then pushing the dates back 7 times and saying it's gonna come out this time and doesn't. And like you said, he does the same shit with his Yeezys and fucking fashion. So I feel like this is just gonna be an ongoing thing with Aaron Donald, where it's like every year it's gonna be like, yeah, what else am I gonna accomplish? I don't know. Maybe I should just protect my head, and I am actually kind of undersized, so let me just protect my body. Like, bro, yeah, cool, we get it, awesome, but like, you know, your team's fucked if you do that, right? So like, are you gonna do that or not? Because if you are, you should do it like ahead of time and not last minute, so that they can try to, you know, trade everyone for a 2nd round pick. But yeah, otherwise, like, let's just move on and fucking play ball, bro. Because even before that, I mean, we've had at least like what 2-3 contract negotiations with him in his 6 years in the league, 7 years, 8 years now. This is 8 year.
Yeah, 8 or 9.
So basically, we're going every other year. Is Aaron Donald going to play in a Rams jersey or not? Like,
pretty much, that's going to be the new headline.
All right. Touchdown or turnover. Lamar Jackson's contract deadline to sign with the Ravens is this Friday. There was a whole meme last week with him all chained up. Touchdown or turnover? Is Lamar going to get his deal?
Touchdown for him holding his ground.
Is he really not going to play, though?
Yeah, he'll play. He just won't negotiate his contract during the season. That's pretty much what this is. So they got till tomorrow to give him a contract that's suitable, and he might pop $200 million, guaranteed. Wouldn't be surprised.
All right, Derrick Henry restructured his contract, got a $2 million raise, touchdown or turnover for Henry.
He'll be a free agent after this year, so get your money.
I mean, he's probably going to get that many more carries, so they're going to need him that much more with that less than dank offense. The Vikings traded for Jalen Reagor, a guy that actually went in the spot right before they took Justin Jefferson, which they kind of laughed at and were like, yeah, go ahead, take him. And they took Jefferson. The rest was history, but now Reagor is a member of the Vikings, so touchdown or turnover for Reagor?
Touchdown for Reagor if he ever gets in the end zone. But he needed to change the scenery. Philly wasn't going to work, and now he can be like the 4th option or 5th option in Minnesota, kind of rebuild his career.
I think that gives him more flexibility, too, with their backup running backs. Because, what's his name? Starts with an M. But, yeah, he did pretty well in Cook's absence. So, you know, that gives him another option as kind of like an H-back, backup running back, receiver, gadget guy, et cetera, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Shout out to Lynn Bowden Sr. He got cut, but another guy who can kind of be Jack of all trades, but I think Miami picked him up. But yeah, Reagor has a chance to redeem himself, but I don't see how that's gonna happen.
Madison was the guy I was thinking of earlier.
Yeah,
always forget his name. Always mix him up with the other dude for the Niners that starts with an M. Mm-hmm. All right. We already talked about it earlier, but the Raiders cut their first-round pick from a year ago, Alex Leatherwood. The Bears picked him up off waivers, took some of the contract burden. But yeah, touchdown or turnover, Leatherwood with the Bears.
Oh, the team passed on him. Might as well go to a team that really desperately needs linemen. You're going to find out real quick what kind of player he is, a good one or a bad one. I already thought he was a bust. I thought he was never the right pick for the Raiders. But it turned out the way it turned out. And now he's Seattle's problem.
You mean Chicago's problem?
Yeah. He's the whole East Coast problem. He's just,
wait, what?
He's just. I just don't want to talk about Alex Leatherwood.
Just don't blame it on Alex Leatherwood.
I just don't
blame it on your sleep-deprived, lower brain capacity.
I just don't have any more brain cells to devote to Alex Leatherwood talk.
Speaking of things you don't have
or
brain cells to
Chicago
talk to,
Bears offensive line talk.
We alluded to it a little bit earlier, but Trayvon Mullen went to the Cardinals for a 6th-round pick. He's slates in as one of their starting corners. Touchdown or turnover, Mullen to the Cardinals.
He's already apparently hurt, like Phil said. He needed to change the scenery. But it also just goes to show... Shit, I caught a cramp. It also just goes to show that the Raiders haven't really had a good draft since they took Khalil Mack and Derek Carr. And they fucked that up, too.
Well, and Cooper the next year.
They haven't had realistically a good draft if you take out that 2013 year.
2014
year since...
In 2015.
Yeah. Even before, if you take out that year, they haven't had a good draft in like 30 years. Probably since Charles Woodson.
Gotta fact check that. I don't know. All right. Von Miller got a new show on Bleacher Report every week. Touchdown or turnover. Von Miller taking our jobs.
That is touchdown.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's a touchdown too because Von, he seems well respected and well connected. You know, whether it's dabbing up his former Broncos teammates or former Rams teammates, leaves an impact everywhere he goes. You know, he's now fostered the whole Von Miller's pass rushing camp annual thing. So he's like become a thought leader of pass rushers. So yeah, sure, why not? Fuck it. Von Miller's kind of like a nerdy dude anyway, so I think it'd be cool. Your guy, more life, more Flacco. Touchdown or turnover. Joe Flacco starting week 1. He's literally asleep. He literally died. Kenny literally died.
No, I'm not.
This last season of Joe Flacco was just pushed him over the edge.
I was more alive than
he pushed him over
now.
the edge.
I just did a physical representation of like the Jets' chances of winning this fucking game and Joe Flacco's performance against Lamar Jackson. Like literally. Like when you caught me sleeping like 6 hours ago for my little power nap, that was like I just the Jets are kind of fucked. Like, because Flacco's not good. And yeah, they have better receivers and possibly a better line. But realistically, the Ravens are going to beat the shit out the Jets. And Flacco is going to fully realize why. See? This is why they booted me out of Baltimore early. For that reason. That answer your question? That's how dead the fucking Jets are.
All right. The Rams are keeping the locker open for Odell Beckham. He was at the game today. The Bills and the Rams was like, yeah, I want to play, but also I'm enjoying this. So touchdown or turnover, the Rams leaving the light on for Odell.
Thanks, Motel 6. It's a turnover. There's no space for him on that team.
Well, Allen Robinson only got one target in like 60 snaps, so there might be.
I just don't Shit.
Shout out to our guy Corey from Hardcore Penn State football.
Can't wait to get him on.
He pointed that out.
He said the Detroit Lions are going to win the NFC North. But, shout out to Corey Listokey. Holy shit, my brain has just been going wow all day.
You finally admitted this man's at 50% brain capacity.
Like 38.
All right, last one. Jason Peters at what, like 39 years old, signs with the Dallas Cowboys. Touchdown or turnover for the Cowboys?
Fuck the Cowboys.
I mean,
that's my answer.
It tells you something that they went after Peters, who was like barely in a roster last year, and like the year before was injured, and like it's been basically. I mean, even when the Eagles won the Super Bowl like 4 years ago, he was already kind of like, we don't know, he might be washed, might be it. Now, who I would have went and got was Andrew Whitworth. I would have thrown it back in him, but I think the Rams still had his rights too, anyways, because I think he might have been still under contract. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like even Eric Fisher would have been a better move in terms of having a swing tackle, but yeah, I don't know, man. Just certain teams, much like we talked about earlier with the Raiders, kind of rolling out with a tackle that's only had 12 starts and 3 backup offensive linemen that only have like 2 starts between the 3 of them. Like, the Cowboys are also subscribed to being the smartest people in the room. Like, those old-timey franchises just always find ways to be the smartest people in the room. And it's like, dude,
until the playoffs start,
this isn't that hard. Like, let's not fuck it up. Just like I tell people driving my car. Like, my car has lots of AI in it. It's very advanced. I don't have to do a lot. I just have to not fuck it up. Same thing with a lot of this football shit. You study these players since they're damn near sophomores in high school. You study them for 7-8 years. Kenny can tell you damn near 60% of which ones will bust. 60 to 70%. And that's a lot higher than a lot of these GMs. So, yeah. And when it comes to free agents, I could give you at least 3, 4, 5 guys that'll probably be better Band-Aids than Peters. But, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. With that, let's get to the rants. Kenny, since you're falling asleep, you go first.
I'm not falling asleep. It's just,
motherfucker, you really falling asleep.
I'm not falling asleep.
You literally almost dropped the mic like 7 times.
Nah, I slipped on my hand. I had sweaty palms.
Yeah, okay.
Sweaty palms.
Okay, bro.
Bottom line is, long week. Bills clapped the Rams. My fantasy team in some parts is in shambles, but hey, it's what it is. Practice squads are going to be interesting because it's filled with guys who can play. Like last year was like the first year, like really, where people are kind of flocking to practice squads, especially because of COVID. So it'll be interesting to see, like, because like Anthony Harris was a Pro Bowl safety for I think the Vikings and the Eagles. He got cut and put on the practice squad. So those cats are just sitting, waiting for their chance. Salute to them. Also want to point out I'm worried about my fantasy team, honestly. That's really just on the back of my mind. Like, fuck. I might end up 0-2 in like 3 leagues. That shit's a problem. But mostly I'm excited for football to start. Excited for college football, USC. Hopefully they beat Stanford. Really gonna be excited though. Covering the team and all the home games this season. It'll be interesting to see how it all ends up. And I'll record some stuff and let y'all know how it goes. Outside of that, I'm going to sit here with my massive ass migraine, with my eyes closed and not say anything. And I won't even interrupt Pete. I know he's going to slander me But yeah, y'all have a good one. Take it easy. Oh, and also the weekend, he canceled